Go ahead.
Welcome into Press Box Live. Stan the Fan Charles, along with Luke Jackson, the managing editor of Press Box and PressBoxOnline.com, and the old left-hander, Ross Grimsley. And we are here to talk some baseball for the next 25, 30 minutes. And we are brought to you by our friends at the Costas Inn, now with two great locations, 4100 North Point Boulevard, where you can still get steamed crabs and the entire Costas menu, and Timonium at the fairgrounds above the grandstand right next to the OTB, where you can get the entire menu, but albeit without pork
The
chops.
pork chops.
Without pork chops. All right. But we give them 6 thumbs up. Correct, gentlemen?
Oh, I gotta get my thumbs. My
All
thumbs
right,
are
there we go. We got 6
okay.
thumbs up for the Costas, and we'll talk more about them midway through the show. Orioles season is in the history books, and they move on, and we assume that Mike Elias is feverishly working at finding that new manager, and not so feverishly looking for that new general. But guys, we have our first managerial change. That is Bruce Bochy is out in Texas with the Texas Rangers, and in is my number one choice for the Oriole job, which I think they would have had to go after him very hard and very early. And that's Skip Schumacher, formerly the manager of the Miami Marlins when Kim Eng was the GM there. And Ross, I don't know, do you know Skip at all? Have you come
No.
across him at all? He's a
Yeah.
very highly regarded baseball person. And I think that they thought enough of him that they knew that with so many openings, they were playing with fire if they didn't decisively let Bruce Bochy know they were moving on from him, and then within 24 hours hire Schumacher. That says a lot to me.
Yeah. They usually wait till usually after the series before they make these moves and what have you. So you can understand why they're going after a quality guy, especially in Texas. And Bochy, we have no idea where he may end up. I mean, like we were talking earlier, he's I don't know if he wants to manage anymore. I haven't heard anything from anybody, but he's had a great career. Thought he'd go to the Giants, but they want to go with a younger guy, which I think most of the teams in baseball want to do that. They want to go with younger guys who the GMs or people higher up can have a little more control over and do some things that they want to do,
Yeah, I mean,
which is the way it is now.
signing a Bruce Bochy, Luke, is signing away. You're ceding power to the manager if you're Mike Elias. So I doubt that they'll look into him very strongly at all.
And it remains to be seen whether Bruce still wants to manage,
Yep.
whether his heart is still in the game. I'm sure it is. I
His
mean,
legs, if his legs and the rest of his
yeah, and
body.
it's just, but it's just a matter of can he physically handle the managing at this point because we all see the struggles he has walking to the mound to take out a pitcher, right? Well, and Grims, you can talk about this better than I can. Baseball teams work very, very odd hours, and I would imagine that for a manager who's in his 70s at this point, that can be a little bit of a challenge too. You're getting in at 4 a.m., you're
Oh yeah.
sleeping until noon, you're getting into I'm sure that's a bit of a challenge once you get up in
Well,
age.
that's I tell you, Terry Crowley, who was a hitting coach for the Orioles for many years, he retired at some point, and he was saying, "I was falling asleep when we left the ballpark on the bus to go
Mhm.
to the airport. Then I fell asleep on the
On the
plane,
plane.
and then I fell asleep on the bus going to the hotel when we landed." He said, "I fell asleep 3 times before I actually got in bed." So that will wear you out right there. But after a while, I'm surprised that he was having some physical problems, and not really serious when the last year I was with the Giants in 2014, and even before that, and it's I mean that was what is that, 11 years ago.
Yeah.
So that takes its toll on you. So I would be really surprised if he manages again. He may still have the energy, and that's at 75. I just don't have that. I wouldn't have the energy or want to go through the trials and tribulations of the game now.
The other thing is you take a couple of years off, you forget the grind. You know, if you're home with the wife for a couple of years and she's haranguing you to do this and do that and do that, suddenly managing sounds like a pretty good idea again. And then you get out on the road for 3 years like he has now with Texas, and it's a whole different ball game. And think about it from the club's perspective. This is not, look, I'm 73, so I'm sensitive to the age issues. But look at what the Angels went through this year. They had the courage to hire an older manager in Ron
Yeah.
Washington, and a year and a half in, I think they liked the job he was doing. They gave him a horse crap team. You know, with Trout being the exception, but injured all the time. And look what they had to go through the last 3 months. And now they're going to be treated like they're an they're an age anti-old people, thing like that because they want to hire somebody new.
Well, Washington was sick.
Yeah, he had a heart
Yeah,
condition. And
he
there's
had
no
some he had some
guarantee.
right.
He would like to manage again, but
Yeah.
I don't think you want your team to go through that where you do spend, I'm sure Perry Manasian, as bad a job as he's done, I'm sure he's working hard, and then you have your manager undermined by health considerations. You don't want that.
Yeah. No, you don't.
Yeah.
And
So
it's a young
anyway,
man's game now,
so
for
anyway, the
several
poaching
reasons.
situation Schumacher is in Texas. The rumors are Nick Hundley to the Giants. I won't say it's a fait accompli, but he was the backup catcher to Buster Posey for a couple of years with San Francisco. So Posey must respect him a great deal.
Right.
And the other thing, it sounded last week like a fait accompli that Albert Pujols was going to get the Angel job, but now another ex-Angel who the owner Moreno is very friendly with and very fond of is what's his name? The Hunter, the center fielder. He came from the Twins to the Angels.
I read it
Was
this
it Torrey
morning. I
Hunter?
forgot.
Torrey Hunter. Torrey
Okay.
Hunter
Torrey
is
Hunter, yeah.
interested, very interested in the job. And Artie Moreno is very fond of him. So I think he might even be a bigger favorite now for the job than Pujols.
Yeah, you think the Angels are one of those situations where the GM is not making this hire, it's the owner who's making this
I
hire,
think very strongly that that's the situation.
and it's going to be one of Artie's guys.
Yeah. Well, I think he was allowed to make the Washington decision.
Right.
And I think he happened to pick a guy great baseball guy, Ron Washington, But the
Oh,
other
yeah.
job so far, apparently at Atlanta, the two favorites at this point might be Walt Weiss, who has managed before in the big leagues with the Rockies, a thankless job. And he's been Snitker's bench coach for about 6 or 7 years, Walt Weiss. And the other one was David Ross, who played for the Braves briefly.
Yeah.
He's interested in that job. And Ross, you have a feeling that David Ross could pop in here because he was apparently asked to be the bench coach this offseason for Brandon Hyde.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Although I wonder, he and Hyde are very close, and I'm sure he and Hyde have spoken at length about how this ended. And so I just wonder if he has multiple opportunities, whether Baltimore would be the one that he would choose.
Yeah.
Yeah, but very possible. I mean, that's yeah.
I think
It kind of depends
Although
on
although
how
maybe
you
Hyde
wanna-
although maybe Hyde tells him that working with Mike is great and he should take
Yeah.
the job if offered. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Right. No, exactly.
Look,
Exactly.
these jobs are so tough to get
Right.
that I don't think Hyde is dissuading him from taking any
Speaking
job.
of which,
Yeah.
do you guys think that Brandon could get one of these jobs?
Oh boy.
I don't know. I don't know the answer to
I
that.
I haven't even heard his name mentioned
Right. I mean,
Now
this is
we
a guy.
haven't
I
heard
mean,
so
we haven't heard a word out of him. My gut feeling is that he's going to surface again, but he'll have to do the bench coach thing.
I don't disagree.
Let's say Brad Ausmus takes a job somewhere. Now Aaron Boone needs a bench coach. He's got to be impressed with what Hyde did in Baltimore. You know,
Geez, I mean, he's a manager with a division title under his belt in Baltimore. I mean, there aren't many managers over the past 40, 50
it
years
took
who have
over a
that.
very tough
Yeah.
rebuild.
very bad. I
And
mean,
yeah,
he was on the bottom and he was on the top, so
Right.
he knows what it like. He knows what it takes. I mean,
I think he'll
so
be under consideration for some. It'll be interesting to see if he gets an interview. You know, I don't
yeah,
know this guy in Boston, the guy who took the Washington job, Tamonte or Paul Tamont.
Right.
Uh,
Right.
I don't know him and who he's connected with. My guess is he might try and steal Varitek
Yeah,
from the
I would
Red
think that
Sox.
he'll pluck someone from that Sox staff. I would
Yeah,
think. Yeah.
that's what I'm thinking. Somebody up there. So we'll see how it plays out. But the sad thing, and I think this is part of the story here in Baltimore, I don't know how hard these guys are digging. Rock's a good writer. I don't know how much Rock gets hard work, or whether it's sort of spoon fed because of the internet arm of the team, massinsports.com. But I don't know how I just get the sense Mike's gonna zip everything, lock everything down, and then all of a sudden we're gonna get an announcement there's a press conference tomorrow.
Yeah.
And
That's generally how it works. I mean, Mike likes to keep things close to the vest, as you've mentioned
my
many, many
point
times.
is, I
Yeah.
is that really a healthy way to have interest in your baseball team while you're trying to sell tickets, spark interest in the team? And they've got a golden opportunity to grab the off season because the Ravens are so
Right.
bad here. I
Right.
mean, they really do have a golden opportunity handed to them.
Right.
We'll see.
So
I
which
think
what was worse? Do you think the Orioles pitching in the first 6 weeks of the season or the Ravens defense this first month of the season?
uh,
God,
They're
the
really
Ravens
the
defense.
seasons are mirroring each other
it's
in a really, really
unbelievable
rough way.
it's unbelievable. Other than Harbaugh's staying, that
Well, there's no way he's going. He's always going to be here. It
yeah,
seems
yeah,
like.
he might go at the end of this year because Steve
Yeah.
Bisciotti may love him, but he loves this too.
Yeah,
What
right,
does
right.
And that ballpark yesterday, M&T
Mhm.
Bank Stadium, at halftime it was almost half empty,
It was about a
and
preseason
after
game.
three quarters it was
Oh
half
wow,
full.
yeah,
I mean, it's an unwatchable product, really
Right.
is. So we'll
yeah.
see how it plays out. My overall point is, how do you get spark interest in the team when your general manager treats everything like it's state secrets? We're talking about who's the potential manager of the baseball team. Is that hurtful if three or four names he goes, we're interested in talking to Bob Melvin, or we're interested in talking to Don Mattingly,
He
or
probably does think it's harmful.
yeah, yeah.
So
I
I
don't know.
mean,
I
that's
mean, you got to spark. Well, you don't raise the ticket prices before the season's over. I
Right.
thought that was kind of did away with those 40 game plans or whatever, and
Right.
some of that stuff. I mean, what you could have waited for
I've
that.
heard that they've backpedaled on some of the raise of the ticket price. I heard the ticket
God,
prices
I
they were
hope
going
so. I mean,
from
that's
80 to 100 are back in the $85 range.
yeah. I mean, that was just made no sense at all to
Hey,
me.
we've
But
gone about 15 minutes talking about virtually nothing because we're talking about the Orioles, whether they're going to allow us.
this is the new show about nothing.
Right.
yeah, yeah,
This is
right.
the new
Seinfeld's been
sign.
off the air for a while. This is
This
the
is
new
the new
show
New
about nothing.
Seinfeld.
Steinfeld.
So let me get the Costas in ad out of the way, and then we will talk about the baseball playoffs. American League, two series are off today. Toronto leading. Are they only leading 2-0 in games, Luke, or is there a new category when you
I think
outscore
Toronto's up to nothing. Yeah.
yeah, Yeah.
Yeah.
When you
but
score
there's no
23
need-
runs in 2 games, I thought maybe
Oh
they might
yeah,
get an
the run
extra win out
differential is
of it.
pretty good for them.
they're yeah, they
But I
got a
will,
chance.
yeah.
They've got a shot at this series, I think. Uh, and the other series is nip and tuck, a very close series between the Tigers and Seattle, with the Tigers going home for the next 2 games, starting tomorrow, both of the American League games. National League is on tonight in about 35 minutes. The Dodgers will be in Philadelphia. And who's pitching tonight? It's going to be Jesus Luzardo
And Blake Snell.
against and Blake
Snell, yeah.
Snell for the Dodgers. And the Milwaukee Brewers will host the Chicago Cubs, and it'll be Shania Imanaga,
Shota Imanaga.
Shota Imanaga versus Andy Ashby.
Aaron Ashby.
Aaron Ashby in game
When's the last
2.
time Andy Ashby pitched? He was
You're trying to raise him from the dead, ain't you,
Was
Steve?
Andy Ashby? He was a catcher, wasn't he? Was he a pitcher? Andy Ashby?
Let me just
One
make sure.
of them, when Alan Ashby was the catcher, wasn't he, or was he the pitcher?
I think
No,
he was a
Andy
catcher.
Ashby was a starting pitcher.
Okay.
Yeah,
in the
Alan
90s.
was the catcher.
Allen was the catcher.
Yeah,
Okay. Anyway, Allen.
he's in there somewhere too. So what
Allen
the
and
hell?
Andy aren't pitching tonight. Aaron actually pitching tonight. Not to be confused with Aaron Savale.
Oh, great.
They get into the series again. We're going to take a timeout now and talk a little bit about our friends at the Costas Inn. And first and foremost, to all of us, they are friends above everything. Late Costas Triantopoulos built. It's kind of like he built the culture. He and his wife built the culture of the Costas Inn, and the kids have carried it on, and all the employees carry it on. So it's a great family atmosphere. 4100 North Point Boulevard is the place you're most familiar with. They've been there for 54 years, so they ain't going anywhere. Same great menu is still in place there, along with steamed crabs all year long. 410-477-1975 is the number. If you're interested in having a little crab feast for your friends and family, give them a call to find out the price point, size, and availability of the Costas Inn. The other Costas Inn that just opened about 2 months ago in Timonium, on the upstairs at the of the grandstand at Timonium Racecourse, right next to the OTB. It's the same great Costas Inn experience, except no crabs, steamed crabs. They've got crab soup, crabs, crab cakes, and all the rest of the menu. There's some debate currently going on whether you can get pork chops there or not. But
That's what I'm going to say.
I promise you this: whatever you get there, whether it's a crab cake, pit beef sandwich, a steak, you're going to love it at the Costas. All right, tell them Stan the Fan sent you. Don't forget they got specials every night of the week, Monday through Friday. Thursday night is a great special on lobsters, giant lobsters. Okay, for $29.95 at the Costas in Timonium and out at North Point Boulevard. All right, we are back with our remaining time. What's more of a surprise right now, that the Yankees are down 0-2, or just the size of the victories by Toronto, Ross?
They put a whooping on them both nights.
Yeah.
And I was watching the other night, and Bird was she was in the bed with the dog sleeping, reading something, and every now and then I'd give her, it's 7-0, it's 10-2, it's whatever, and yeah, she just I don't want to hear it anymore. Just be quiet. But yeah, that the runs. I mean, they get 23 runs. Toronto's swinging the bats. I mean, they
And this
are
is without Bo Bichette.
exactly. And the Yankees, their bullpen, I just don't. That's pretty scary. So running that. So I think obviously Toronto, they got to win one of the next three, and I think they're on a roll. I think they're on a roll. Yeah, it'll be interesting, but I think they'll win one of the next three and move on.
All right, Luke. They
Yeah.
will pitch. They will pitch Shane Bieber tomorrow night
Yeah.
against Carlos Rodon. This was an interesting trade that Mark Shapiro pulled off, and his general manager, Atkins,
Yeah,
Ross
Ross
Atkins,
Atkins. Yeah.
um, taking a shot with Shane Bieber before he'd even gotten back to the major leagues. And they've gotten some pretty good play out of Shane Bieber.
Yeah, it was a great gamble because there really weren't many starting pitchers moved at the deadline. I think Tampa Bay moved a starter, Taj Bradley. Um, there was Bailey Falter moved. I mean, it really was not. Charlie Morton moved. It was not an active market, and like everyone thought that Joe Ryan would move. He didn't end up being traded, and so the Jays made an upside play, and they got Shane Bieber, and he's been really good for them. And uh, he's sort of turned into a little bit of a kitchen sink guy. He's got a good curveball. Um, but I mean, the Jays all year have been putting a beating on teams at home. I mean, they have really, really played well in Toronto. And so what we saw the past two nights against the Yankees is sort of more of the same. They haven't played it nearly as well on the road. So I could absolutely see the Yankees taking two at home at Yankee Stadium this week and sending it back to Toronto. I could absolutely see that. I do not think this series is over, but they've got to get some depth from their starters, which they haven't gotten, and they were sort of pushed to the brink in terms of what they had to use in order to get through that three-game series with the Red Sox, and that put them behind the eight ball to start this series because they had to go with Heel, who has just been okay this year, not as good as he was last year. And really, winning the division and getting that first round bye should be a big advantage. And it has been a big advantage for the Jays this time around. They came out like a shot out of a cannon,
Yeah.
and with their pitching all lined up, whereas the Yankees came into Toronto a little beat up with their pitching, having to start Heel, their number four starter, going up against Toronto's number one. That should be a big advantage. And for some reason, it seems like sometimes it's not, but
Yeah.
it is in this series.
You know, the fact the Yankees came back and scored 7 runs when they were down, what was it, 13 to uh, 2 or something like that. They
I
ended up with
guess that's a
seven.
good sign. I
Well,
guess,
I mean, I mean, they didn't roll over. I mean,
right?
they went, and that kind of give up. If there's any good thing that come out of that, was that fact that they scored some runs when they were down. So hopefully
Toronto's
that,
bullpen is not great. And I mean, that's
no,
really been their Achilles heel all year. And they tried to address it, getting Dominguez at the deadline. He's been okay for them. Uh, Whether you trust him in a big, big spot in the ALCSA, we'll see. I mean, he's going to get those spots. Hoffman, their closer, has been up and down all year.
Yeah.
Uh,
And injured a little bit, dinged up a
yeah,
little bit.
but yeah, toward the end of the year, he was throwing the ball really well. So, um, uh,
I, I found it
basically,
I found it real curious that Toronto kept Bassett and Scherzer off their roster for this series,
oh,
like
you thought
saying
they could have helped in
we're
relief?
good with starters. We want to get an extra lefty in the bullpen, and Scherzer might have been able to help in one of these games.
Well, you see what Dave Roberts is doing with the Dodgers. I mean, he's fed up with most of his true relief pitchers, so he's
Yeah,
just
he's
using
put
starters in relief roles.
yeah.
You know, he's like, you had 6 months to get right, and it's not happening. I'm going to try other.
yeah.
Right. Well, he's using Sasaki
Yeah,
as
he's
his
pretty damn
closer
good.
right now.
Yeah.
All right. The other American League series, 11 innings in game one, the Tigers eked out a victory. And then they've got Scooble going last night, and everybody's saying, well, they're going to be up 2-0. And Jorge Polanco hits two solo home runs.
Right.
They coughed that lead up in the top of the eighth. And then in the bottom of the eighth, Riley gets a double, and Julio gets a double. Julio Rodriguez gets a double, and they score that go-ahead run and hold on to win that game. That series goes back to Detroit, and it's Jack Flaherty versus Logan Gilbert,
Mhm.
arguably their best pitcher, but he's been banged up this year, Luke.
Right. I mean, it just seems to me that the margin between these two teams is razor thin. I mean, these two teams seem really, really close. Obviously, Detroit's downturn in the second half is has been well documented. But once they got into the tournament, they're a little better set up than say Cleveland was because such a disproportionate percentage of their innings can now be thrown by Scooble. And we saw that play out in a
Especially in
positive way.
short series.
Yeah, yeah. He's and Scooble really helped them in the wild card round. I mean, he pitched really well yesterday. It's just
great.
two mistakes to Polanco, and,
Yep.
and that turned out to be a big deal because Detroit really didn't score. But that's also been sort of the story for Detroit in the second half, is that they didn't score at the rate they did in the first half for whatever reason. I think they got like a dead cat bounce out of Javi Baez in the first half. He hasn't been so hot of late. Riley Green had a much better first half than second half. I think Torque had a better first half than second half. And so
That's why I think they're a candidate to go after strongly, like Pete Alonso.
oh, he would really help. He would really help for sure. And remember, they tried to get Bregman this past offseason. They offered him like 5 or 6 years. I don't know. I mean, long term, they might be thankful that he didn't accept their offer.
Yeah,
But yeah, I mean, they could use another dude in that lineup.
no
Hey,
question about it.
Will Scooble pitch if it goes to game 5? Will he pitch that game?
Yeah, I think
Yes.
so.
Yes.
Because they're off tomorrow or
No,
today.
they're off today.
They're off
and then
today.
two
They
on
got
and then
2
off,
games.
and then he would start game 5.
He'll start. Well, is there a day off in between?
Yes. Yes.
So he's got game 5. That's huge right there. I
Yeah.
think for them. I like Seattle's pitching. I like their bullpen better than.
And I like their offense better. I think
yes.
they got a little more firepower, more potential firepower. All right, tonight, National League, we've got the Cubs and the Phillies and the Dodgers are tied at 1 game apiece. And the Phillies won game 1 pretty handily, and then had a 3-0 lead in game 2, and it looked a little bit like the Toronto Yankees series, and then boom, Teoscar Hernandez hits a 3-run homer, and they got the lead, and they win game 2. They've had a day off, and the starters tonight, Luke, are Luzardo against Blake Snell. Who do you like in this ball game? It's a tough series. Snell's awfully good, but Luzardo's been really red hot.
Yeah, 2 lefties with huge stuff.
Wasn't there a guy locally that writes for Press Box that was talking about 2 years ago about getting Luzardo for the Orioles? Wasn't there somebody?
I'm not aware of this person.
Okay.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, don't pat yourself on the back too hard, but anyway, so on the injury front for Philly, Harrison Bader is out of the lineup this game. He's apparently available to hit. He is running at just like 75-80% right now. I think it's a hamstring or a quad, something, some soft tissue issue. And so he can't play the outfield. And that's a bit of a blow for the Phillies because
he's been
he's
playing
played
at a
pretty
high
well.
level.
Yeah, and drove in a run for them on Saturday. So I don't know.
He's like their new Austin Hayes.
Yeah, there you go.
Always hurt. Always hurt.
But I mean, for the Phillies, it comes down to can the top third of that lineup, Turner, Schwarber, Harper, perform at a high level? Didn't happen on Saturday. They need those guys to perform like the stars they are. When they've been bounced from the playoffs the last few years, they haven't gotten great performances from those stars, and they need those guys to step up.
And this is a tough matchup for both of them against Blake Snell.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, maybe not so. I mean, not so much Schwarber, just because he's actually a reverse split guy the past 2 years, I think. But yeah, I mean, Blake Snell is a tough matchup for anybody.
Yeah.
I mean,
who do we like, Ross, in this series?
Dodgers,
Phillies.
Oh yeah, geez, automatic. I think.
You're back in the Dodgers.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
All right. Well,
I got a road down right here.
I'm going with the Phillies then. So the Phillies are going to take game 2 tonight.
I give the Phillies a shot if they can get by tonight. No question about it. The other series, it starts at 9:00 in Milwaukee, is the Brewers hosting the Cubs, and they had a beatdown in game 1. Imanaga is going to go in game 2 for the Cubs, and for the Brewers, it's Aaron Ashby. Ross, do you know much about Ashby? Because Luke,
I don't know anything about either one of them. I think he's got a pretty good earned run average, but he's in that. 2 something. But as far as I don't know very much about the Brewers at all. You
Okay.
know,
Well, I'll tell you what, the Cubs have that prospect. What's his name? The outfielder?
center fielder.
No, not Pete Crow Armstrong. I'm talking about a prospect. They brought him
Oh,
up in late August
right.
for a few games, but he must be pretty sensational because for a team as poised to be a deep contender in the playoffs in the postseason that spent so much money on a manager and gave their GM, an extension, a lucrative extension, for them to make at the deadline, the only pitcher they picked up that could possibly help in the rotation with all the injuries they had, they picked up Mike Soroka. They must really love this guy because they didn't want to part with him because that's what it would have taken to have gotten a decent pitcher, Luke.
Yeah. Yeah. You and I had talked about at the time of the deadline that it was curious that the Cubs didn't move more aggressively for a starting pitcher. And like we were just talking
I
about, there
mean,
just weren't.
even somebody like picking up Adrian Hauser from the White Sox or Bradley from the Blue, somebody that could from the Rays that could have helped them. I mean, it's just really pathetic to
How
me.
about Tomoyuki Sugano?
Sagana wouldn't have been as bad as Soroka pickup. Soroka, you I just thought it was basically a poor performance by the front office. I guess maybe he was busy getting his extension right at the same time. I mean, I think Hoyer got his extension about a week before the deadline, and he must have gone out on a bender to celebrate that,
An all-nighter at Rush Street.
But if Milwaukee wins tonight, I think that series will be all but over. So right now, what are we looking at, Luke? What do you think will be the National League final series?
I'm going to go with the Phillies and Brewers.
Okay.
And
And
then,
Ross, you
God,
like the Dodgers
I
and
like the
Brewers?
Dodgers and the Brewers. Yeah.
Okay. I'm right on the fence on that Philly Dodgers series. I think the winner of tonight's game is going to win that series, but I don't know who the winner of that series will be. I tend to like the Phillies a little bit more. We'll see. We'll see. The way Mookie Betts is hitting right now, that's a big lift for the Dodgers, right? No question about it. And the Dodgers do have this Sasaki to come in and close out,
Yeah.
which is a big pickup for them. All right. That's going to do it for today. We'll be back next Monday. One name I wanted to throw out before we do leave is I'm starting to look at who the Orioles could target. And Luke and I have talked about Sonny Gray a little bit during the season as somebody that might be attractive. Ross, he's got a big contract. I mean, I think he's
Yeah.
got like, isn't it like $50 million left on his contract, Luke? Something like
let me
that,
check.
50 or but anyway, it's a big contract, but it was interesting the timing of thinking about him. And then MLB Trade Rumors had this story where the Cardinals are willing to eat some of the money of their veteran deals. They want to move on from
Yeah.
Arenado and they want to move on from Sonny Gray. Would Sonny Gray still be an attractive guy for the Orioles?
I mean, for the money, probably. I mean, they don't have to. Pitching
Well,
is such a.
the money's big.
Yeah. Well,
Even
if
if
they're going to
they
take,
even
if
if
they're
they
going to, if
eat
Cardinals are going
50,
to take on some of it, it might
yeah.
be interesting for them. But they're going to have to wait and see who's out there, and you just don't know. Pitching is such a gamble now. I mean, you got to have some guys that,
I,
especially starters.
I think they need to circle 2 or 3 names and really go after them decisively and get one of them locked up early, not at the winter meetings where everybody's going
Yeah.
crazy. I think Sonny Gray is acquirable. I think Joe Ryan might be acquirable.
So, Sonny Gray is due 35 mil next year.
Oh, geez. Yeah.
And then he has a 30 million club option for 27.
With a
Here's the
$5
catch.
million buyout, right?
Here's the catch.
Yeah.
He has a full no trade.
Right. They're talking he might be willing. The deal's gonna end up being he's gonna want an extra year to come somewhere, but I think he's gonna know that he ain't getting 35 million for a third year. So I think if the Orioles could suss that out at 3 years, 65, 70 out of their pockets, they might go for him.
Yeah, they could
I
do
mean,
that, but
they paid
they gotta get that
Eflin, they paid Eflin 17 or 18 million. Sonny
Yeah.
Gray has been pretty durable, hasn't he, Luke?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean,
Yeah.
that's something. All right.
That's well. Yeah, what about the bullpen? The bullpen is really a question mark that they got to really totally redo.
Yeah. I'd be going after this guy from the Braves. I'd be going after Racel Iglesias. That's who I would go after. 2 year, $30 million contract. For
They're going to be
Racel
looking.
Iglesias.
They're going to be looking at those guys.
Yeah. Yeah. Luke, you got any thoughts on that?
How about Robert Suarez?
I'm not sure that the Padres are going to move on from him. You think they are?
He's a free agent, isn't he?
They
Yeah,
might.
he's free agent.
Yeah, he is a free agent. You're right. You're right. You mean team him up with Albert Suarez?
Albert had an elbow issue at the end of the year, so I don't know.
Yeah.
And you didn't ask Mike at the presser about Albert Suarez's elbow.
No,
We
I
could
did
have
not.
talked about it.
I did not. I didn't have a great interest in
Oh.
Albert Suarez.
Oh. Oh.
Yeah. I was too busy asking him about the process of why you would want to name a manager before the general manager. You know,
You're
that
just getting to
question.
the bottom of that. A deep
Yeah.
dive.
He said that I got out of him that well, the general manager thing's not something we're immediately looking forward, for. So I don't think they really want to round out their front office, and it's really an assistant general manager. All right, guys, that's going to do it for today. We are brought to you each and every time we come on the air by the Costas Inn. We'll be back next Monday around the same time, 5 o'clock. Have a great week, guys. For Luke Jackson, Ross Grimsley, I'm Stan the Fan Charles. Over and out.